Hello, today we are going to invite a friend to talk about how to smell expensive. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to Sunbird Perfumes and Cosmetics Zimbabwe.
Do wealthy women have a particular smell? What about elegant, classy women? How do they smell like? And not to sound like a freak, but sometimes I like to walk behind them on the streets and be like, analyzing how they smell like, because they do smell differently. They have a very particular scent about them, but I'm gonna uncover and unpack all of that with you in today's video, because maybe you're here because you would like to elevate yourself to have more of a high-end smell to you. Who knows? Nothing wrong with that. Today, I'm gonna spill all the insights that you need to know. But so how do an elegant woman smell like? All right, let me tell you, but I have to take you back to high school. I remember particularly this one girl. She had this typical, rich girl, fresh aura around her. And I was sitting next to her in class, and I was just mesmerized by her incredible smell and how clean she smelled. And I was thinking to myself, like, what is her secret? But actually now I really do know what her secret is, because I've been breaking this down over the years and also analyzing like a bunch of other women that I've been in contact with. So let me tell you. It's not just about the perfume. Yes, perfume plays a big part, probably majority, but then there's also like these other details that you do in your personal grooming. As an example, what kind of shampoo are you using? Are you using some supermarket shampoo? Well, then you're gonna smell like an average person. Nothing wrong with being an average person, by the way, but like, in this video, it's because you probably want to smell a little bit more high-end. I do not know. The first thing that I did notice, shampoo. Their hair has a smell. It smells usually clean. Whether it smells clean because they use hair perfume or because they're freshly groomed, maybe they have a fresh blow dry going on, or maybe they're just using a more high-end shampoo at home. Because let me tell you, their hair does not smell like the average supermarket shampoo that you maybe smell on other people. Like there is no Schwarzkopf, I can't even pronounce it, or Elsev going on. There is simply something else, like something more high quality going on there. And the same goes for body lotion and shower gel. There is no Palmolive, there is no Nivea smell, because these people, they actually buy something a little bit more niche, or something more high end, or something more high quality, meaning that the scent is not going to be the average supermarket scent. And that's something you should pay attention to. Not that you have to be ashamed if you have that smell. Remember that there is no right and wrong. It's just that if you want to kind of, go that extra level, then yeah, you have to differentiate a little bit somehow. And these people do that in this particular way. I also notice how they don't apply too much perfume. I know that in certain cultures, like the Middle East cultures, it's very much part of, the norm to spray loads and loads of perfume. But in the rest of the world, it tends to be more subtle. Like, yes, you do have a scent, but it's not overpowering. It's kind of there in the background together with their other smells, like I said, fresh hair, body lotion, just the essence of cleanliness. It's kind of mixed all together. All right, moving on. They also don't wear mainstream perfumes, although there are exceptions to this rule, so hear me out. Now, what do I mean with mainstream perfumes? Anything that you can find in an airport duty-free shop. Like, that's kind of how I differentiate it. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions, like I said. As an example, Hermes is a common perfume brand that wealthy people or elegant people still wear, even though you can buy it at the duty-free. So there are exceptions. Plus, if you really, really love a perfume, even though it's considered mainstream, a lot of wealthy people or elegant people, they don't care. They're still gonna wear that perfume. As an example, in my case, I love the Miss Dior perfume, but it's really cheesy in that essence because it's very mainstream. But sometimes you have to find that balance between what you really like and you feel really represents you versus what's hitting your kind of level up goals or quality aspirations. I personally believe that there is a way of how to level up without losing your authenticity and losing yourself in the process. If you want to smell more high-end, more sophisticated, then I highly, highly suggest that you go and purchase your perfume either in a niche perfume store or perfumery, or you buy it in a very high-end department store where you live. Like, just for reference, if let's say you live in London, you would go and look for your perfume in Harrods or Selfridges. But why do I tell you to do this? Well, it's because usually they tend to gather more sophisticated, more expensive and high-end perfumes versus the common mainstream perfumes that you get like in every Christmas box, around Christmas time, you always get a perfume and a body lotion in a little Christmas set. They don't do that. High-end perfumes tend to just be high-end perfumes. Yes, surely they do cost more, but that's the thing. If you want to smell expensive, well, I'm sorry to say, but sometimes it is expensive. Although there are ways around that, of course, that I'm going to touch upon in a second. To just summarize what I'm trying to explain, avoid smelling like the mainstream. Avoid smelling like you bought something in a duty-free shop. Avoid smelling like everybody else. Find a unique smell, something more high-end, something more eau de perfume instead of eau de toilette. Spend a little bit more on your perfume if you want to have that expensive smell aura around you. Even though, like I said, it's not just about your perfume, it's also about your personal grooming and hygiene. Don't forget your breath. Okay, my next advice to you is go and start smelling around. You don't have to be a perfume expert, really. Like, you can be completely clueless in the perfume department. But I think one thing that you should already start thinking about is what kind of fragrance group do you prefer? Are you the floral type of girl? Or are you more woody or oriental or citrus? I mean, there are so many fragrance groups, and I think you should really smell them all to understand, okay, what fits your personality? What is an accurate representation of you, who you are authentically, not just like who you want to be as your image. Remember, my teachings are blending elegance with authenticity. We're not just trying to copy paste somebody else onto us. We actually want to be ourselves as well, but maybe like a better version of ourselves instead of like the worst version. But please do know, you can have multiple perfume groups. You don't have to just be married to one group and always smell like floral. Buy different perfumes from different groups, depending on your mood, depending on your season, depending on activity, you name it. Now, my next advice is you just have to go and start smelling. Go to, like I said, niche perfume stores or high-end department stores. Get help from the lady who works there or gentleman. They will ask you, what kind of fragrance group do you prefer? So already come a little bit prepared so that this process goes a little bit smoother. But if you don't have a clue, just be honest and say how it is. They're going to help you. You're going to smell a bunch of stuff. Make sure you smell coffee in between to really cleanse that little nose palette of yours. And then it's all about what is your preference. Yes, certainly, there are certain fragrances that maybe wealthy people or elegant people tend to go for. But to be honest, I'm not going to recommend some, it's this perfume, it's that perfume, it's another perfume in today's video. And that is because people tend to actually just wear what they really, really like and what represents them. And the goal is not to buy the most popular perfume. The goal is to maybe find something a little bit more unique. A smell that not everybody has. And so that should be your goal when you're like sniffing around and trying to figure out what is your signature smell. Perfumes are very personal, so treat it like that. Don't try to fit a mold, even if you want to have this kind of expensive aura around you. Don't forget yourself in the mix. If you're somebody and you want to have a fast track in your perfume search journey, then you should really join Level Up Class, because actually I have provided to my members a downloadable PDF with all those niche perfume brands or more high-end perfume brands that you should look into if you're looking to elevate your scent. This downloadable PDF is currently available inside a Level Up Class. So those who are members, go and log into your. Some people do mix and match perfumes, meaning that they wear multiple perfumes at once. Now, this can be a little bit risky if you are a complete beginner who is very clueless in the perfume department, because you can definitely smell like a bit too much, or some scents just don't work together. So I think you have to be cautious, but still be open to experimenting. Maybe you will get it right. So try it out. I'm sure perfume experts who are really knowledgeable in this have a take on it. I'm not a perfume expert. I'm just sharing my analysis of elegant people in high society that I have gathered over the years. Then there are actually people who create their own fragrance, and you can do that too. You can go on a little perfume workshop somewhere, and you will be guided through a process where you basically put together your own little perfume that you can take home with you. Have a look if you have anything like that where you live, because that could be a really fun way of exploring a whole world of scents. Plus, it's a very fun kind of feminine activity to do, so I highly recommend it. Now, a common question that I've received over the years is, can you copy a friend's perfume? And what is the etiquette around that? Now, I do think a person's perfume can be very much ingrained in their identity. Some people just wear one perfume, which becomes their kind of signature smell, which is something that I used to do. Back in the days, I would wear this perfume, Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle, and I used to love it, and I wore it for like 6-7 years. But then I had a friend of mine who started wearing it as well. And what happened was that I smelled it on her every time we met, and on her it smelled differently, which is very normal because usually a perfume does not smell identical on everyone's body because, you know, it gets blended with your natural body oil and texture. And so obviously it's going to smell slightly different. And so I really liked the way it smelled on me. Maybe I was also used to that smell. But then I started smelling this perfume, how it smelled on my friend. And it smelled slightly differently. Not bad or anything, just different. But then when I would continue wearing this perfume, because I was smelling this perfume on this person and it had a very distinct smell, that distinct smell was very overpowering when I was wearing it. I was now kind of picking up that smell in my own perfume on myself. And I didn't like that anymore. What I'm trying to say basically is that the smell had changed. And I did not like the new smell I was now smelling from that same perfume. That actually made me stop wearing that perfume, and I feel a bit sad about it because I used to love that perfume. So that is a bit of a sad, unfortunate thing that can happen. I think this is important to pay attention to if you are planning on maybe copy one of your friend's perfumes. Always ask for permission first. Some people are very flexible. Some people are very sensitive around their smell because they feel like it's so much part of their identity that they don't really want to share that. And I think that sometimes we should actually understand and respect it. There is no right and wrong answer in this case because I really do think it depends. Now, if you're just acquaintances with somebody and you rarely meet, then I think it's a different story. Then you might not even need to ask for permission. You can just do what you want. But in close relationships, no, permission is key. So what kind of perfumes do I use today? Well, I do not really use perfumes so much because I suffer from migraines. And oftentimes when I wear a perfume, I can get a migraine more easily. So I try to avoid them, but I do like to wear them if I go out. So that's usually the only occasion when I wear perfume. And these are the perfumes that I currently have. I can't say that any of them are my signature smell today. This one is actually my favorite. It smells very kind of Asian, very fresh and very light. These are from a beautiful perfume store in Paris. This smells very fresh, very clean, kind of very sophisticated from that perspective. I definitely recommend checking out these perfume brands. They are great. I haven't actually found yet my next signature smell, but if I do one day, I'm definitely not going to share it publicly, which is a mistake I did in the past. It will then be more of a secret. But these ones, I switch in between them as my mood fits. Now, I hope this video has given you some insights on the perfume strategy that you should have if you want to smell expensive. Please do note, I really want you to also blend in your authentic self into the mix, which is why I'm not going to give you a particular perfume to just copy and paste onto yourself. I really want you to go and discover for yourself what represents you and how do you want to smell like. Now, in my next video, I have more tips for you on how you can become the best version of yourself. Don't forget that my channel is all about leveling up, and here I want to provide you with the best tips and a no BS approach. So make sure you subscribe before watching my next video.
So there you are. What is your take? Leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe, follow, and like Sunbird Perfumes and Cosmetics Zimbabwe. Order today and smell expensive.